Hello bag lovers, it's Diane from Spencer Ugg Sewing Patterns here, popping on with a quick hack. So I recently released the sewing pattern for the arch zipper pouches, and it comes in two sizes, which are these two. And we've seen some really great, stunning makes on the Facebook group already. Now, this week I was messing about making another one and realised that you could convert it into a really smart bowler bag just by easily adding handles. Another great idea from one of our Facebook group members, Rachel, was to add Insul Bright rather than fleece or foam to make it into an insulated lunch bag, which I thought was a great idea, and these handles work a treat for that too. Now, you know, I always get a bit excited when there's a good hack on the go, so I thought I'd film a quick tutorial to share it with you today. You need to own the sewing pattern for the arch pouches, which you can find on my website and in the links in the text below. And this video is to illustrate how to additionally add the grab handles. So let's have a quick look how to add those. They're a super easy addition to make this pattern even more versatile. I'm giving you the handle length that you see here to give this kind of dimension. There's plenty of length for your hand or your wrist, but you can extend them, you can make them longer to fit over your shoulder if you prefer. You can make them any length that suits your needs. So if you're ready, let's go sew. So there are two sizes included with the pattern for the arch pouch, but we're making this bowler bag style using the large size pouch as it makes a better size for a bag. So I've cut out the large size. Use your own chosen fabrics, anything you want to use, whether it's quilt cottons or whether it's vinyls, waterproof canvas. We'll discuss what the handles are going to be in a minute, but cut all your pieces out before you start. And you can make your handles in any fabric you like. So to start with, I'm just going to keep hold of my outer, back and front pieces A. Put those to one side, rid of the rest for now. So this is what we're going to be working on to attach our handles, but let's have a look at the handles themselves first. So handles you can make in anything you choose. You can make them in your outer fabric, you can make them in the lining, even just webbing. So we'll briefly run through each. So if you want to make your handles in webbing, it literally is as easy as cutting some 1 inch wide webbing the length that you want to. So the length we need for this is 59 centimeters or 23 inches, and you want to cut two lengths of that size. And we'll be adding it there. So we're going to be adding them all in the same way. This is just the preparation. So to prepare, if you're using webbing, literally that's it. Cut your lengths, two lengths at 59 centimeters or 23 inches, and then we're ready with that one. If you want to make it in outer or lining fabric, then we're going to cut two lengths of outer fabric. Again, 59 centimeters or 23 inches long, but we want it to be 4 inches wide because we want a finished strip or a finished handle width of 1 inch. We're going to be folding that to conceal the raw edges. So if you're using quilt cotton or other lightweight fabrics, this is the perfect method to use. I'm using vinyl, but it's quite a lightweight vinyl, so it'll fold and stitch fine, this one. If you're using quilt cotton or another very lightweight fabric, also cut a length of fleece or foam 54 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters wide, and that is 21 inches by 1 inch wide. So that's just going to be a quarter of the width of your outer, just so we can add a little bit more firmness to the straps. But you only need that if you are using quilt cotton or another very lightweight fabric. So regardless of what fabric you are using, flip them over and draw a line down the centre, right down the middle. Now if you want to add some fleece or foam to that, as I say, cut a 1 inch wide strip and just apply it so it's butted up, one edge of it is butted up against your drawn line. So basically it would just finish here. So you just have that 1 inch width of fleece and we'd fold it over onto itself. Cut it a little bit shorter, so 54 centimeters or 21 inches long, so it's going to finish before we get to the end, about an inch before we get to the end, so it won't end up in the seam adding bulk at the bottom edge here. So if you're adding that fleece, fuse it on now. And then whether you're using vinyl or whether you're using quilt cotton will continue as the same method for both. I don't need any fleece or foam because it's firm enough as it is. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to fold in to meet that middle line. So I'm folding my outer edges in to meet the middle line. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So one side folded in to meet that drawn line in the centre. Turn it around and clip the other side in. Fold it in. If you're using quilt cottons, obviously you can press it, or fabrics, cotton type fabrics, you can press that to hold it in place. If you're using vinyls, you can use double-sided tape to hold it in place, or just clips as I'm doing here. It's not a huge long strap, so it's not too unwieldy. And once we've done that, we're then going to fold it in half again to conceal the raw edges right into the centre. So fold it over and then just use your clips to clip it in place. Make sure the edges are lined up perfectly against each other. So that's my strap prepared and ready to attach. We're not going to top stitch it yet. We're going to top stitch it, attach it, and then top stitch the second portion later. But that's ready to go. So I'll do the same with the other one. Just an aside, if you are using a really bulky fabric, mine isn't too bulky as I say, it's quite easy to fold and hold in place. But if you are using something that's super bulky, you do have an option of constructing slightly different. So instead of using your 4-fold method, as that is, you can instead make a feature strap which is slightly less bulky with vinyl and webbing. So in which case you would cut a 2-inch strip rather than a 4-inch strip. So 2 inches would be 5 centimetres. Cut it 2 inches wide, same length, and fold into the centre just as we've done previously there. So this would make obviously a narrower strap to start with, but we'll end up with a 1-inch strap. You can fold them into the centre, but we still don't want to see that raw edge of the fabric. So you can grab a narrower width, so a 3/4 or a 1/2 inch width of webbing, and place that down the centre, right down that centre strip to disguise the seam, or disguise the raw edge. So that will reduce your bulk from a 4-fold strap by using the webbing, as you can see. So just to hold that in place, we would then top stitch just on the edge, or an 1/8 of an inch or 3mm from the edge of the webbing on both sides, just to keep that in place. So that then would be ready to use on our bag as well. So that's just an alternative if you are using a super bulky vinyl. So let's go back to the strap we're making today. So we're just going to use my 4-inch wide one, which will, once folded 4 times, produce a 1-inch wide strap. So let's do the other one. Same again. Folding into the centre from the sides. Then fold it in half again to conceal the raw edges and clip in place, matching up those outer folded edges. So regardless of the method you used, we're now ready to attach those straps to our outer pieces A. So I'll grab my first piece A, outer body, back and front, and I'm going to grab one of my completed straps. So I'm going to have that so that the folded edges go to the outside. It's personal preference, doesn't really make much difference. It just means for me, I want the fold line, or where the folds meant to be, on the inside of the bag rather than showing on the outside. That's the only reason. It really doesn't matter. Then I'm going to decide where I want them to lie on here. So I'll grab a ruler and a couple more clips, and it's just where you feel you would like that position. So I'm going to position mine something like this. Let's just measure one side first, and then I can match up the other. So you want to give yourself plenty of space at each side. So I'm doing mine 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches from the edge to the start of the strap. So let's do that one on the other side. Now, I don't know if I just mentioned before, if you have got fleece inside there, make sure it's cut out of the bottom inch here, because we don't want it going into the seam, just to reduce the bulk. So there we are. Make sure those are straight, and then clip them at the top as well. You can use double-sided tape all the way through here if you prefer double-sided tape to hold everything in position. There we are. So let me grab a little bit of chalk, because I'm going to mark my position of where I want to sew to. So we don't want to sew to the very top. I'm going to attach these by top stitching around the sides, but we don't want to sew to the very top because we want to leave this edge free to attach our zip easily. So we want them to finish about 1 inch below or more. So 2.5 or 1 inch below the top edge, which is around there. So let's just put a line on there, because we want plenty of room to be able to fold those handles down and out of the way when we're adding our zip and constructing the rest of the bag. So I'll just mark there. Not very good marking, yeah, chalk, is it? Can't really see it, but I'll make a good guess while we're there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stitch 3mm or 1/8 of an inch up along each edge. So up here, across at the line, down that one, and then across the bottom as well, just to secure that. And I'll do that on both sides. To get a nice top stitch, I tend to use a blind hemming foot on my machine to give me an equal distance, a definite equal distance from the edge all the way, so I'm not worrying about if I'm going in or out. So I'll put a blind hemming foot on my machine. You can use a seam guide if you prefer, and I just move my needle to the left. Yeah, move your needle to the left, and then position the bar of your blind hemming foot along the strap, and it'll keep you stitching a nice even distance from the edge. Trim that up. So that's one side attached. So up one side, across about 1 inch from the top, back down, and then across the bottom as well. So let's do that with the second side. So let's do our other side. So my folded edges, where there's the 2 folded edges to the outside. Oh, upside down, that won't help. And I want them 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches from the edge on both sides. And that's personal preference, you can change. Have them closer or not as close, whichever you fancy. There we go, and clip them at the top as well. Just make sure they are running nice and straight and perpendicular to that bottom edge. Put a 1 inch line on there, 1 inch before the top again. Not that you can see it very well in this chalk, but it'll give me an idea. So there, I might do it on there. Can I see it better on there? No. Do our best. Well, I'll say to the top of the clip then, that's even better. The bottom of that clip is there. Okay. So again, I'm going to stitch starting with the folded edge on the outside, stitch up 3mm or 1/8 inch from the edge, come across 1 inch below the top edge, back down. Same on this side. So that's my straps attached for both of them. And now I just want to top stitch around the rest of the straps. So starting as close as you can to the edge here, we're going to top stitch around both sides, and then we'll do a line across here as far as you can reach. So you might have a little gap like this, but that's fine. Just get your machine foot in as close as you possibly can. Fold that top edge down, by the way, just out of the way. And that will hold the rest of our strap in position. I have to go at it that way to get my blind hemming foot sat on the right side of it. There we go. Pull that top edge down again. Flip that top edge up and you've got your strap top stitched as well. So I've attached it with top stitch, and then I've done a separate amount of top stitch over the top. If you prefer, if you don't mind having 2 lines of top stitch down here, when your straps are single, before you attach them to the bag, you could top stitch the whole thing and then put it on and just stitch an extra square on them there. But I quite fancied having the just 1 layer of top stitch, or 1 line of top stitch. So I'll do the same with the other side. So fold that top edge down before you start. Take any clips off just there. So I've folded this layer of fabric back. You could always put a clip in it if you wanted for now, just to hold it out of the way, so I can get right down to that layer of stitches there. That is both handles attached and top stitched. So just give that a tidy up, make sure you've trimmed everything, and we're ready to start work following the instructions as per the pattern. So our next job will be to attach the base, and then we'll be attaching the zip. When you come to attach the zip at the top, just fold your handles down so you can reach that zip edge and you can apply your zip without any problems. So let's make that up. And here she is, so cute. Just have a look at that. It works fabulously well as a bowler bag style handbag now. Or if you want to swap out the fleece for Insul Bright, which is a thermal insulated fleece material, you'll have the most stylish lunch bag ever. And as I mentioned at the beginning, you can also increase the length of these straps to shoulder length too, if you prefer. You can even make it into a crossbody bag if you wish to, simply by adding D-rings to the zip tabs, and and then you can attach your crossbody strap. I would make the zip webbing pullers at just an inch or so longer, just so it raises the centre of gravity, but then it makes a great crossbody bag. Snap that on. One I got from my stash. It doesn't match, but we'll pretend it does. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. The arch pouches pattern is available on the link in the text below, or head to my website at www.spencerogg.com. If you haven't made one already, what are you waiting for? Loads of options. Let's go sew.